Talk to us about the history and significance of Wilmington, Delaware, as relates to being one of the perfect places for this institution to start.
Wilmington, Delaware, where we're sitting right now, was the last southern stop in the slave states during the Underground Railroad. So once you got to Wilmington, you had made it to the borderline between slave America and free America. Once you crossed over to Pennsylvania, you was now in free territory. So for Harriet Tubman, who came through Wilmington, Frederick Douglass, who came through Wilmington, Henry Highland Garnett, who came through Wilmington, and tens of thousands of other Africans, many of whom will forever remain nameless, Wilmington, Delaware was their last stop as a piece of human property. This was the last stop before you crossed over to freedom. And for our school to be located at the last stop in slavery for our ancestors running through the Underground Railroad is so symbolically significant for a lot of different reasons. In addition to that, this is where the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and you see we have the red, black, and green stone, but this is where the Honorable Marcus Garvey incorporated his Black Star Line Steamship Corporation. It was done in Delaware, and the Garveyites who took the paperwork to the state of Delaware to incorporate the Black Star Line came from Wilmington. That is also significant. Bob Marley, a musical Garveyite, used to visit and live in Wilmington. This was a regular vacation spot for Bob Marley and his mother, and the house that Bob Marley lived in is only a few minutes away, and it's still decorated with all of Bob Marley's images on it. So Wilmington, Delaware, although it is a small city and is often overlooked for much larger Philadelphia, okay, is very, very significant in the history of black people. And Harriet Tubman's major financier, a white man by the name of Thomas Garrett, who is buried a few blocks from here. He was Harriet Tubman's main financier on the Underground Railroad, was born on the same day that I was born on, and the same day that the Nat Turner War took place, August the 21st. There are no coincidences. We are here on purpose, and it is divine design and destiny that we stay here and finish what we started.
About the legacy of Booker T. Washington. And I just want you to briefly talk about that connection between Booker T. Washington's vision for Tuskegee Institute and the one opportunity we have right now.
Booker T. Washington was a little known Pan-Africanist himself. A lot of people don't know that Booker T. Washington had an international conference for the Negro on the campus of Tuskegee Institute in 1912, I believe the year was. This is 4 years before Marcus Garvey comes to America. Booker T. Washington is training Africans at Tuskegee on how to go back to Africa and build up strong communities. Not only that, Booker T. Washington was scheduled to be a speaker at Henry Sylvester Williams' 1900 First Pan-African Conference. Booker T was supposed to be a speaker, but he was unable to make it. And when people look at the influence that Booker T. Washington had on Marcus Garvey, they always leave out the fact that one of the things that attracted Garvey to Booker T so much was the fact that they both had similar views, although different tactics, on the need for international organization amongst African people all over the world. And to answer your question, Queen Mother, what I'm doing is exactly what Booker T. Washington did. What I'm doing is exactly what Mary McLeod Bethune did. What I'm doing is exactly what Father Paul Washington did at the St. Paul's College. Those colleges were founded as schools. They became colleges. Tuskegee Institute was the Tuskegee Normal School. It became a college. So one day we also hope to see the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy become a college as well. And so I see myself as another one of those black educators who decided to create a new opportunity for black children where they were with what they had. Remember, Booker T. Washington had his students make their own clothes, make their own food, build their own buildings, fire their own bricks. Mary McLeod Bethune used to sell cupcakes in order to raise money for the Bethune-Cookman College, which began at a trash dumpster. So our people have had a history, Queen Mother, and I'm so glad you bring this up, of starting from nothing, just like we did 6 years ago, starting from nothing. And here we are with 4 buildings 6 years later, and we have to finish the mission. It's been 401 years in America. Our ancestors are crying out for a victory, and we want this campus, your campus, my campus, our campus, to be the victory that our ancestors are looking for. I don't think it's a coincidence that Marcus Garvey incorporated the Black Star Line Steamship Company in 1919, and 100 years later, in the same state, we purchased the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy buildings 2019. That is no coincidence.
Once you are up and running, what are some of the varied programs that this institution will have for our community?
What will make the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy unique? Right. I'll give you 3 quick things that make this campus unique for our children, beginning with our boys and then growing to our girls. And I'm going to give you 3 quick things that's going to make this campus unique for our parents and larger community. Number 1, Dr. Umar Johnson will not just be a principal, I will be a teacher. Children who attend this school will be able to say that I have Dr. Umar for a classroom teacher. No other school in America has that. Number 2, this school does not simply exist to prepare our children for college. In my opinion, that is too low of a goal for us, because college is a business, and every child that applies to one will likely get into one. So simply saying that your students got accepted into college, to me, is not necessarily indicative of them having been properly educated. Our goal is to create nation builders, family men, entrepreneurs, and international diplomats for the global African family. We are educating black men who will be able to go anywhere in the world and build independent black communities. That's what the purpose of this school is. Not for you to go to the military, not for you to go to college, not for you to go to trade school. Nothing's wrong with any of that, and we support all of that. And of course, we will have children who will want to do some of that, but we want them to be economically independent and economically self-sufficient upon graduation, and we want them to be dedicated to building the black family and the black community and rebuilding the entire African world. That is why we exist. Number 3, we will teach Pan-Africanism as a curriculum. We will teach African spirituality as a curriculum. We will teach financial and economic science as a curriculum, and we will teach love of the black woman as a curriculum. No other school in the world does that. For the community, when school closes in the afternoon, the community opens at night. You will never see these buildings close. We will have Lamaze class, birthing class, how to cook, how to do your taxes, a self-defense class, gun and rifle training. Everything that the black community needs to learn will be learned in these 4 buildings. What we are lacking as a people in this country is a central black community organizing space and meeting place. A central black community organizing space and meeting place. Between these 4 buildings, we have all the space we need to hold any conference, any workshop, any type of symposium whatsoever. We will finally have that right here. We don't own much of anything. Most of our large meeting spaces, if any, are owned by churches and religious organizations, most of whom are only dedicated to pushing their particular religion. This campus ain't about pushing anybody's religion. It's about building up the entire global African family. And that's what's going to make FDMG different from any other space or place in this country.